Hello and welcome to this overview of the St Albans and People of 1381 learning resources for the Historical Association Teacher Fellowship People of 1381 project. I'm David Ingledew and I'm a Principal Lecturer in Education at the University of Hertfordshire. This slide provides an overview of all the resources that are included for using St Albans as a project to look at the people of 1381. Just to note that these resources can be used in conjunction with others, those which are based around a local history visit to St Albans and to key sites of 1381. There are a number of aspects of the rationale behind the development of these resources. First of all, it's an opportunity to look at the local history of St Albans in relation to the 1381 revolt. These resources could be used in isolation, or they could be used to support a local history visit to St Albans, both the abbey and the town, and can be used in conjunction with the other resources available designed to support that. Either way, the rationale behind the resources is to support you as the teacher and your pupils to explore the people of 1381 in more detail with regards both the urban environment of St Albans at the time of this period, but also the surrounding countryside, the surrounding manors, and the interconnection between the two. And that's a really useful way to sort of explore some of the sort of complexities of the people's lives at the time, and also what happened in 1381. So this can be seen as helping pupils develop an understanding both in terms of continuity and change of the 1381 revolt, and also to sort of consider causation and consequences as well as significance as well. In addition, these resources can be linked to other resources which are focused around the typology of popular protest, also developed for the People of 1381 project. This slide provides an overview of an overarching inquiry and a series of lessons, 6 lessons in total, focused on St Albans and the people of 1381. And the overarching inquiry is, why is there no blue plaque for William Grindcop? And I will briefly outline each of these lessons in turn. So lesson 1 has the inquiry question of what happened in St Albans in 1381. First of all in this lesson is an introduction to William Grindcop, widely recognised as the key leader of the revolt in St Albans in 1381, and the fact that there is a blue plaque on the St Albans Museum, formerly the Town Hall in St Albans, to the radical preacher John Bull, who was executed in St Albans, but not William Grindcop himself. And the question is why? The main part of this lesson will explore the key events, the key sort of developments of the revolt in St Albans in 1381 in relation to what happened nationally, particularly in London. And it will use the resources, the accompanying resources of maps and events cards to help pupils identify what happened and when during this really sort of important year. An example of such a resource is this map of medieval St Albans during this period, particularly in relation to the town and the abbey itself. Lesson 2 has the inquiry question of what were the causes of the 1381 revolt in St Albans. And this will use both cause cards and maps for pupils to identify the key factors that led to the revolt. Again, linking the national revolt to those specific events in St Albans themselves, where there are similarities, but also where there are differences as well. Lesson 3 has the inquiry question of who and how were St Albans people involved in the 1381 revolt. And this will look at individuals using a combination of top trumps cards and maps, as well as event cards, with a sort of an additional focus on looking at William Grimecob's involvement in the 1381 revolt, particularly with regard to St Albans. And resources such as this map, which is a 19th century construction of what medieval St Albans, its abbey and the town, looked like, could be really useful here for key sort of people, key events in St Albans during 1381. For example, the smashing by rebels in St Albans of the jail gates and the release of a number of prisoners, but interestingly the execution of one of those prisoners by the rebels themselves. The inquiry question for lesson 4 is, what were the consequences of the 1381 revolt in St Albans? And this lesson will use consequence cards and again maps of St Albans to help pupils explore, well, what was the impact of the revolt? Who won, who lost out? Did anything change as a consequence of the revolt in St Albans and linked to the wider national revolt? Lesson 5 has the inquiry question of why do historians disagree about William Grimecob? And this is very much focused on historical interpretations and will help pupils explore why we have different perceptions from different historians about William Grimecob, his character, his role in the revolt, and what sort of person he was. And different interpretations of Grimecob have been brought together, different historians, in order for pupils to explore in more detail the sort of person Grimecob was, but also importantly to think and consider why these historians disagree. What is it that leads to these disagreements? And finally, lesson 6 comes back to that overarching inquiry. Why is there no blue plaque to William Grimecob in St Albans? So it will draw upon an extract from O'Brien that uses sources contemporary to the time of a speech that Grimecob supposedly made immediately prior to his execution. And it will help pupils consider this issue of significance to an extent. Okay, why is Grimecob barely mentioned, barely remembered? I think there is one road in St Albans named after him, and that's a fairly minor road. Okay, and what does this tell us about the 1381 revolt and the people of St Albans in the 14th century? Now, just to note that provided here are adaptable resources, and there are two sorts. There's a main sort of resources and adapted for Key Stage 3. But actually the resources are designed for you to adapt and use in whatever way you wish. So you could use these resources in conjunction with a local history visit to St Albans, or they could just be used in the classroom and to use other digital resources for pupils' learning. The resources themselves can be reduced. There's quite a lot of content in some of them, so actually you can cut and paste whatever you want to suit your needs, and that's perfectly acceptable. They can be used in conjunction with other work associated with this People of 1381 project, and can be used to compare different areas of the country in terms of revolt as well. The key is that these resources are designed to be adapted, to be used to suit your purposes, what you want your pupils to learn, how you want your pupils to learn it, and the outcomes you want to get through that process of learning. Similarly, the overarching inquiry and inquiry questions for each of the lessons just explained is just a guide. You can actually come up with your own overarching inquiry and inquiry questions for the lessons and sequence them in whichever way you think suits best. You might want to link this in directly with an overview of the national revolt, or you might just want to focus on St Albans as one or two lessons in isolation. So in conclusion, these resources can be used as a local study of St Albans, which can be combined with a school trip, but doesn't have to be, of this key significant historical event, the 1381 revolt. The resources are an opportunity to explore a more complex and more nuanced understanding of the revolt through an in-depth local study of St Albans. And so the resources can be used as a case study of the people of 1381, designed to support a wider understanding for pupils of medieval life and to move beyond sort of simplistic descriptions and explanations. There's a wide range of resources here that can be readily adapted for your curriculum, your pupils, and the outcomes in learning that you want to achieve. And they're designed to fit a wide range of inquiry questions, not just the ones outlined here in this presentation, to suit the history you want your pupils to learn and the way in which you approach history. And finally, the resources can be used in conjunction with other resources available here through the HA Teacher Fellowship project. For example, to use this to compare and contrast with other local studies of 1381, or to be used in conjunction with the typology of popular protest. And here are the references and reading for this overview of resources and in the adaptation of the resources themselves. Finally, if you've got any questions about these resources, then please don't hesitate to contact me at this email address. Thank you.